Ever feel like you're constantly stretched thin because you can't say no? Well, today we're exploring how setting healthy boundaries can transform your personal and professional life. Hi, I'm Caleb, case manager turned coach turned entrepreneur. And in today's video, we're going to be exploring how poor boundaries can lead to serious burnout. And in fact, studies have shown that 1 in 3 people feel burned out because they struggle with setting boundaries and overcommitting themselves. Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to my channel, The Trusted Advocate. My name is Caleb. I am a case manager turned coach turned entrepreneur. And in today's videos, we're going to be talking about how to establish healthy boundaries, both professionally and personally. Let's get into it. So I'm going to give you 3 ways to set healthy boundaries. Tip number 1, stay in your lane. Data reveals that professionals who focus on their core skills are 21% more likely to succeed in their role than those who frequently take on irrelevant responsibilities. Remember, staying in your lane helps you avoid taking on unnecessary stress and unnecessary burden. So remember to stay in your lane, and let me kind of elaborate a little bit what I mean by that. So in this particular field, as a case manager, clients sometimes they don't really know the textbook definition of what a case manager is, so they'll easily try to make you become therapist, a counselor, a psychiatrist. They'll kind of ask you to take on these additional tasks that aren't necessarily in your job description. So the best thing to do to protect yourself and your mental health is to know your role and to stay in your lane, and not to be rude about it, but to know what your expertise is. Something you can do to kind of avoid that is say, hey, I'm not very good in that area, but let me refer you to somebody that is, and kind of point them to another direction or another resource or a counselor or somebody that may be better equipped to help them in what they're trying to achieve. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2, establish a set cutoff time. Setting a clear cutoff time works in your favor, whether it's work related or whatever task you set out to do. Set a designated cutoff time. Studies show that employees who disconnect from work after hours report 23% higher job satisfaction and less stress, which also benefits their personal lives. This cutoff time gives you the chance to recharge, make you more effective in the long run, right? So you have to establish cutoff times, but one thing you want to do when you're establishing those cutoff times is make sure that coworkers, supervisors, managers, they know and respect your boundaries as well. Like if you're only to work from 8 to 5 o'clock would be that cutoff time, right? I understand you might have extra work, you have to do X, Y, and Z. You can get it done tomorrow. If at all possible, if you can get it done tomorrow, get it done tomorrow, because it establishes those boundaries with your supervisors and managers, and they subconsciously establish the concept that, okay, this employee, they are out at 5 o'clock, right? So they know not to come to you at 5:05 or 5:10 or 5:15 to ask you to do additional work. Establish and those boundaries and make sure that you respect those boundaries, and indirectly it teaches coworkers and supervisors and managers to respect those boundaries as well. So set a designated cutoff time. The third and the final tip is learn to say no. The first and perhaps the most important step is to learn to say no. Research shows that people who regularly say no to non-essential requests are 17% more productive than those who feel compelled to say yes to everything. You have to say no. Saying no to non-essential requests, whether it's personally or professionally, gives you the right to say yes to yourself and yes to your mental health and well-being. So you have to learn to say no. No, I'm not going to go out after work and party, or no, I'm not going to go out after work and have drinks, whatever the case may be. I'm going to say no to those non-essential requests so that I can say yes to myself and focus on some of the things that brings me peace and happiness and keeps me mentally sane. So the most important of the 3 tips that I just gave you guys is number 3, learn to say no, because at the same time, it's a complete sentence. So there's nothing else that you need to say other than no when you receive those non-essential requests. So keep that in mind. Learn to say no. Setting healthy boundaries isn't about saying no to people. It's about saying yes to yourself and your well-being. In fact, individuals who practice effective boundary setting experience 25% less stress and are more likely to have strong, lasting relationships both personally and professionally. So much so that Dr. Henry Cloud, the author of the book Boundaries, he asserts that we are responsible for others and for ourselves. Setting boundaries is crucial for balance and fulfillment in life. Okay, so for this week's challenge, I want to challenge you guys by trying to set one new boundary in your life, whether it's learning to say no, setting a cutoff time, or staying in your lane. Just pick one area and stick to it. Remember, boundaries aren't about rejecting others, they're about taking care of yourself. Start small and notice the positive changes in your energy and mental well-being this week. By learning to say no, establishing a cutoff time, and staying in your lane, you're setting yourself up for less stress and more focus on what really matters to you. If you found these tips helpful, please like and subscribe. And don't miss my next episode where we'll cover building emotional intelligence. I'm sure that's going to be interesting. A skill essential for strong relationships and career success. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.